The crystalline halls of the Valkyrie Palace ship echoed with the sharp crack of flesh against flesh, followed immediately by a piercing shriek of agony. Princess Severa of the Valkyrie Empire clutched her right hand to her chest, her elegant fingers already swelling purple beneath her translucent silver skin. The human woman before her, Claire Donovan, captain of the human delegation, stood completely unmoved, her cheek bearing only a faint red mark that was already fading. By the eternal void, Zavera gasped, her voice trembling with shock and pain. What? What are you made of? Hunter Morrison, Claire's second-in-command, stepped forward with concern etched on his face. Not for the princess, but for his captain. Claire, you all right? Fine, Claire replied coolly, her gray eyes never leaving the alien royal. Though I believe Her Highness may need medical attention. The palace guards had frozen in place, their ceremonial plasma lances held uncertainly. They had witnessed their princess strike the human ambassador in a fit of rage over the failed trade negotiations, but none had expected this outcome. In Valkyrie society, a royal slap was meant to put inferiors in their place. It was theatrical, symbolic, a display of dominance that it was not supposed to result in the slapper requiring emergency medical care. Lord Chancellor Brixton rushed forward, his four eyes wide with alarm as he examined the princess's rapidly deteriorating hand. Summon the physicians immediately. Her Highness requires bone reconstruction. Bone reconstruction? Hunter muttered under his breath, glancing at Claire. She barely touched you. Claire remained silent, but her jaw tightened. This was exactly the kind of incident that could derail humanity's first formal contact with the Valkyrie Empire, a civilization that controlled 17-star systems and viewed themselves as the pinnacle of galactic evolution. The physicians arrived within moments, their scanning devices humming over Zavera's injured hand. The senior physician, an elderly Valkyrie with deep blue markings across his face, looked up with an expression of disbelief. Your Highness has sustained fractures in 4 metacarpal bones and severe trauma to the soft tissue. The human's facial structure appears to have been completely unyielding. Unyielding, Zavera spat, her pride wounded as deeply as her hand. She's made of stone. Metal. This is some kind of trick, some human deception. Claire finally spoke, her voice measured and diplomatic despite the insult she'd just endured. Your Highness, there is no deception. Humans evolved on a high-gravity world with significant environmental pressures. Our bone density is approximately 40% greater than yours, and our dermal tissue is considerably more resilient. You're saying, Brixton interjected, his diplomatic training overriding his shock, that all humans possess this degree of physical durability. Hunter couldn't help the slight smirk that crossed his face. Well, Claire here was a combat athlete before joining the diplomatic corps. Took titanium knuckle boxing in the Mars colonies. But yeah, generally speaking, we're built pretty solid. The revelation seemed to ripple through the assembled Valkyrie like a shockwave. Their empire had expanded through superior technology and strategic dominance, but they had always possessed an unspoken assumption about their own physical superiority. They were taller, more graceful, with senses that could detect spectrums of light and sound beyond most species' comprehension. But they were also fragile. Zavera's breathing had become shallow, and not just from pain. The implications of what had just occurred were setting in. If a simple slap could result in her hand being shattered, what would happen in actual combat? What if negotiations had broken down completely and violence had erupted? Captain Donovan, Brixton said carefully, his tone shifting from condescending to cautious respect. Perhaps we have been premature in our assessment of humanity's position in these negotiations. Claire's expression didn't change, but Hunter caught the subtle shift in her posture. She'd been waiting for this. Lord Chancellor, Claire said, humanity didn't come to the Valkyrie Empire seeking conflict. We came seeking partnership. We have resources, innovations, and yes, certain physical capabilities that could be mutually beneficial. But we also have respect for your civilization's achievements. She paused, then added with careful emphasis, respect is a two-way street. However, Zavera had been listening through her pain, and something in Claire's words seemed to penetrate her royal arrogance. She straightened despite her injury, her crystalline eyes meeting Claire's human ones. You could have retaliated, the princess said quietly. After I struck you, your companion there, She nodded toward Hunter, was ready to defend you. But you did nothing. Retaliation would have escalated the situation unnecessarily, Claire replied. And despite what just happened, I believe both our peoples have much to gain from cooperation rather than conflict. The physician had finished applying a molecular stabilizer to Xavera's hand, the device glowing softly as it began the slow process of knitting bone and tissue. The princess flexed her fingers experimentally, wincing. My father, the emperor, will hear of this incident, Xavera said, and for a moment, the humans tensed. Then she continued, he will hear that I acted rashly, that I underestimated our guests, and that Captain Claire Donovan of Earth showed both strength and restraint in equal measure. Brixton's relief was palpable. Then Your Highness suggests we continue negotiations. I suggest, Xavera said, a wry smile crossing her elegant features despite her pain, that we approach these negotiations with a newfound appreciation for human resilience, and perhaps invest in better intelligence gathering about species physiology before attempting physical dominance displays. Hunter couldn't suppress his grin. That seems wise, Your Highness. As the physicians led Xavera away for more comprehensive treatment, Brixton turned to the human delegation with something approaching genuine warmth. Captain Donovan, Commander Morrison, if you would follow me, I believe we have much to discuss. And perhaps you could educate us further on human evolutionary development. It seems we have significantly underestimated your species. Claire exchanged a quick glance with Hunter before nodding. We'd be happy to, Lord Chancellor. As they walked through the crystalline corridors, Hunter leaned close to Claire and whispered, Did that really not hurt? Like hell, Claire muttered back, maintaining her diplomatic smile. But they don't need to know that. Hunter chuckled softly. Humanity had just taken its first real step onto the galactic stage, and they'd done it not through superior weapons or technology, but through something far more fundamental, the simple, stubborn durability that evolution had granted them. Sometimes, strength wasn't about throwing the first punch. Sometimes, it was about taking one and still standing tall, and sometimes, just sometimes, that was enough to change everything.